Here we've got a first explanation of the 2026 Club Clash. It's different from last year, mainly in the fact that we have two levels of entry, which we call divisions. The Super 8 division and then the General division. Here we're reusing this demonstration, we're reusing data that we've seen before, just to make it more meaningful. We're using teams and players that have taken part in previous competitions, just to make the data look reasonable. But this isn't necessarily the makeup of the teams that will compete at each level. But basically the idea is that the big clubs will put in two teams, one at Super 8 and one at General Division level, and the other teams might just put in one team at the lower level. So you start off playing gender doubles. You do that all morning, and the idea is within the group, Group A, if General Division, you play every opponent in men's and in women's, and same in Group B. In the Super 8, you've got 7 opponents. You just play 5 of them in men's and women's. So that everyone plays exactly the same number of games. So at the end of the morning, you as a person would have played 5 games, and as a team, each team would have played 10 games, so 5 men, 5 women. Now, if you look at the fixture list, the Super 8 have it quite good because they play all morning on 4 courts. So it's exactly play, rest, play, rest, play, rest throughout. And if you look at the first fixture, here we got Liban against Limburg, and they're playing on court 1. The men are playing on court 1. 20 minutes later, the women of the same pairing are playing also on court 1, which means that the men can watch the women and the women can watch the men. They're never being called away to play on a different court. And that is the case throughout the morning for them. And also in the general division, you'll see that they have a little bit tougher because they have to sacrifice a court. They have to alternate on 5 courts with the other group. So they play 3-3-2-2, 3-3-2-2. And that enables them also, if you look at the first fixture, it's Bierbeck against Hammer. Court 5, men. And then 20 minutes later, same court. Now the women. Same pairing. So it means that the women can always watch the men and the men can always watch the women. And that only fails in the last phase. You see in phase 11. Now I think they've got to catch up now because Super 8s are finished. So we have to play all these 10 fixtures in the last phase together. And so we only got 9 courts, of course, which is why we see a little X here. That means that we just have to play this fixture whenever we can, as soon as we see a free court. Everything else. C stands for centre, by the way. So it's courts 1 to 8 plus centre plus this X, which means that we still have to schedule it somewhere. But it's only one, so it's 100 games on 9 courts, which is 11 phases plus 1 more game. So let's put some numbers in here. We'll simulate the groups. Okay. So we'll put in some results. And you'll see that this is the state of play at the end of the morning, at lunchtime. So at 1 o'clock, we say, well, we're thinking now 12:55. If we start at 9:15, we should be finishing 12:55. And this would be the lunchtime situation. So you can see here that Liban are well ahead. They had a great morning. It's very, very close. You see here now you've got 3 teams on 5 points, on 5 wins. Any of them can make it. They've got more games to come. You see, they haven't played mixed yet. Down here, a little bit more cut and dried. But anyway, you've got now the opportunity to play again after lunch, to make up the ground in mixed. So these are now the mixed games. So they take part in the first half of the afternoon. So as soon as you come back from lunch, you've got the same principle. Super 8 playing on courts 1 to 4. They can watch each other again. A little more complex here for the mixed double, for the general division, because they're not playing the same opponents twice. They're playing one opponent once each because they've already played everybody. In the Super 8, it's very tidy because they missed out on playing 2 of their opponents in gender, so now they just play those 2 again. In the general division, they have to play the same opponents again, in 1 or 4 of their opponents again, but in mixed. So this is now what we get at the end of like about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So Lubin have consolidated their position, and it was all very close in the mixed. Looks to me like everyone has held on, actually. Let's have a look, see who. In this case, yeah, everyone did hold on, but and in the bottom division as well. Yeah, that's a bit of a shame. No one actually changed anything, but they could have done. See, here's a. Yeah, I think Taviran were lucky to hold on here because they only won one game in the mixed, and they still finished ahead on points difference. So they were lucky. So that defines now the quarterfinals. So let's look at the quarterfinals here now. Oh, I meant to put this back to 0. Let's put this back to 0 here. So this is the beginning of the quarterfinal phase. So in the first will play the fourth, and the second will play the third, etc. So here you would have each quarterfinal is now a pair of games. Every quarterfinal, semi-final, and final is a pair of games between the two mixed doubles couples in the team, where this Y and X indicates that the X is supposed to be the stronger pair, so they will play second. So as soon as you get a result, I'll just put in a 1 here just to illustrate it. That now opens up the fact that these guys are now expected to win the semi. Now, if it goes to if it's 1 each, then what we do now is we have to break the tie. Well, let's suppose this was 11-9, and this is 8-11. So what happens now? I mean, you could say Taviran should win it on points because they just won more point, but we don't do that. We go to a tiebreak. In fact, we go to a D. D stands for Dream Breaker. And what we're going to do now is we're going to play a Dream Breaker. The question is still open as to exactly what that consists of at the general division level. And I'm thinking at the moment it could either be a simple tiebreaker to 7 where you just nominate a pair, or it could be a doubles Dream Breaker where you switch between the sides. I still haven't decided exactly what, and I'd like to hear Bibek's opinion on that actually because it's their tournament. But in the Super 8, what we're going to do, if these two things are level, is that we're going to play a singles Dream Breaker, as in the MLP. So it's 4 points. You rotate through your team. You define which order you're going to go in. That's the subject of a coin toss, or we give the advantage to the team that's just won the second game. They will then set out their team in order, and the others do the same, and then you play a Dream Breaker. So let's simulate the results of that. Yep, let's do that. So we can see that a few of them do go to Dream Breakers, not the final. Also, Antwerp win it. They beat Taviran. No Dream Breaker necessary. But there was one in the semi. Yep, there was a Dream Breaker here. Taviran won on a Dream Breaker against Lubin in the semi. And that was the only singles Dream Breaker there was in the tournament. But there were quite a few in the general division. So you can see 3 out of 4 of them ended in Dream Breakers. So that's how we're going to split that's how we're going to resolve a 1-1 situation in the semis and the quarters and the semis and the final. And that's really what I'm going to say now. So I'm going to wait for reactions to that, and we will proceed on this basis, basically, subject to people being in favour of it. So anyway, I'll leave it there for now.